I'm Batman. No, I'm Batman. Hello, this is the Lego Batman Cowl set, similar to the helmet series that they've been doing. This has received a lot of hate for pictures of it upon its initial unveiling, including from me. Let me take a better look at it in person, though. First of all, everything good about this from the pictures remains, in my opinion. It still has really good shaping for the eyes, really good shaping for the eyebrows, really good shaping for the cheekbones, the nose there. I think that the ears are done pretty well. The relative balance between studded and non-studded surfaces, I think, is good. A lot of people who are into Lego absolutely hate Lego studs, even though almost all pieces have them. That's a thing. That's okay. I personally don't hate Lego studs, so all that texture there does not bother me personally. Why is that cheekbone just out just a fraction of a millimeter? Okay, there, that's much better. Turning this around to the side, I actually see some things that I personally like better than I did in the photos, but at the same time, from just a few angles back here, there are a few things that I like less. So this curvature of the back of the head, all this back here feels very good to me, and also the sides of the head feel very good to me from some in-between angles. However, there is a bit of a ridge right here where things appear to get a little bit boxy. So this surface back here is a little bit wider, I think, than it ought to be, and this is a little bit deeper than it ought to be if this was just brought in a little bit forward here. This ridge that comes down here, I'm not sure if you can even see it from the top. There's just something about that irks me slightly, just ever so slightly. I'm definitely nitpicking there, just telling you how I feel about this. Like the back of the head feels too wide and flat to me. Of course, it's not a head, it's a cowl. That is something important to keep in mind, but still, it's trying to follow the shape of a head as if it was on a mannequin, for display or something like that. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the balance here. I'm happy with the stand as well, which does something just a little bit different with the use of the trans black or trans dark brown color, rather than going with black down there. It stands out a little bit, makes the blackness of the cowl, the main cowl, stand out more because of that. So I do definitely respect that. I even like the shaping of the chin strap down here. Some Batman cowls have had chin straps, some have not. This is not intended to be a representation officially from Lego. They've said this is not intended to be a representation of one specific version of the Batman cowl. It's supposed to be an amalgam of a number of different ones together, and I'm good with that. I remain wholly unconvinced, though, of the mouth gape here. And the main reason for that, I've been trying to figure out what exactly is it? Like, what would I change if I were to do this? If I were to mod this to make it better in my eyes, what would I do? And it comes down to, the problem comes down to, I think, this gap right in here that's very awkward to me, because I actually don't mind this space. It's dark enough, it doesn't stand out too much because there's only darkness behind it, unlike with the stand where there's a little bit of light that comes through and even a little bit of the color, that brownish color there that is visible. Here you don't see that. However, you do get the dark gray that's intentionally put in around the edge that provides a little bit of an inner border that accentuates that a little bit more than it needs to. But it's this gap that bugs me the most, and it's when I look at this from around the side more, that's what gets to me. I actually did one thing where I accidentally put the chin strap on upside down. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to pull this off and hopefully not destroy the entire model. But I'm going to put this on upside down for one simple reason. It brings it in closer. To that mouth opening. And there's something about that speaks to me in a good way. And you need to get this last one clipped in over here. I think that makes a big difference. Now this does widen the mouth. Excuse me for not getting this more quickly, but that does it does open the mouth more. It's taller now, but getting that in closer, I feel, is just generally a good thing. And now it's got maybe a little bit of underbite there, but bringing this in closer, I think, and having less of that gap front to back there is the most important thing. So if I were to mod this, which unfortunately I do not have the time to do, but I would focus on that. I would focus on reducing that gap, because otherwise, so much of this, I think, is so good. Here, I'll just leave that disconnect it a little bit and see if I can leave it at roughly the same height as before, but just artificially push that in. That's the biggest thing to me, because when it's out farther, it looks more like an open mouth that's just a gaw, just like that. I'm perfectly fine with this not having a suggestion of a human head or a human face inside of there. It's something that they could have done. They could have suggested it behind there with a printed piece, or heavens forbid, a sticker behind there, to have just a comic-styled, very simple, single line mouth, just drawn in just a little bit behind there. But it's the spacing. It's really the spacing that is the main issue to me. Otherwise, and again, the shape of the chin strap itself, I think, is actually good. And when I put it together and I put it on there, like, that felt right. But that space in there, does many, many bad things for this otherwise, I think, actually very good build. It was enjoyable. It went together very quickly. It's very symmetrical left to right, which helps a lot. And it's pretty straightforward. Nothing particularly tricky about it. And you just get the printed basic plaque down there at the base. Now, I paid $60, the regular retail price for this in the United States, and it comes with just 410 pieces, which makes its price to part ratio worse than most of them. I have reviewed enough of these helmet head things that I really don't need to continue to rattle on at great length about my thoughts about the prices of them. I do feel that they are all overpriced for the amount of stuff that you get. And again, with this one, the number of parts being even lower than usual just makes that feel all the more painful and consistent. That said, the size of this is a little bit better. The display value of it, I think, is a little bit better than some of the others. That mouth does bug me from a number of angles, and it requires some serious work. It's too bad. So much of the rest of it, I think, is very good. And even the things that I was nitpicking about around the back, I mean, you're rarely going to see those, and from most angles, you don't see that either. You have to just catch that little ridge that I mentioned on either side from just the right angle. Then it's like, oh yeah, that's a little bit off. The rest of it is great, though. It went together easily. Nice to get those transparent pieces, the trans black or trans dark brown colored parts. I like those. It's a respectable parts pack in that sense. Otherwise, overpriced. And you can see this, everybody can see this. Not everybody will agree with that. So if you have different thoughts about it, please let me know. Or if you have different thoughts about what would fix this, what would make it better, let me know down in the comments below. Appreciate that. Thank you for watching. If you want to see how this did go together, I've got the full real-time pure build that I've done over on my Pure Builds channel, or you can see the speed build of it on my speed build channel. Links to both of those channels are in the video description on every single video, or you can get to them from my channels list on my main channel page, or you can see links to them in the end screen that should be coming up right now. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.